Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, when people sell homes, they typically try to pick up and clean up so that it looks good when they're ready to sell their home. But how does someone prepare their home for sale if it involves decluttering?
Well, Richard, we know that the first showing is online, and that's the reason we do it. There are some buyers that won't go look at a home if there's clutter in the pictures because there's this weird assumption in their head that says, well, if they didn't want to take the time to clean up, the rest of the house is probably a mess too, right? So you don't want to be eliminated with the online test. You want to win with the buyer in the house. And I think people just don't realize how much clutter surrounds them over time and it actually weighs them down. I tend to on my desk in particular is one place where it starts piling up and piling up and I don't notice it. I just focus on what I need to do. And the next thing I know, I look around and go, oh my gosh, what happened here? So they get used to it. And it really is easier to lose track of things if you have a big stack of clutter. That's not true for everybody, but it can be if you get too much stuff. So right now we're going through a rehab, and we had to move out of the main level because there's a lot of hardwood, and we had to get everything off the floors. And so we moved down in the basement, and it was overwhelming how much stuff is just kind of accumulates over time that's just sitting around in rooms. And I'm like, I never use this. So there was so much of it that I got rid of. So how can you really tell if you have clutter? I would start with just taking pictures on your phone, send those pictures to an iPad or a computer and blow them up. They will talk back at you loud and clear about how much clutter there is. You want to make your home look like a model home. So that's the real test. And buyers basically reject homes with clutter even though they're not buying your stuff because they think that you're really not taking care of it or you don't care enough to present the home. Plus, they cannot envision themselves living in the home with all that clutter. They just can't see themselves being there. And that's probably why you'll see all the time with new construction when you go into the models. That's why they set up models and they stage models and why they look beautiful. They smell beautiful. They're decluttered. There's not too much in window coverings, but it's hard for the typical buyer to look at a piece of paper floor plan and figure out what the home is going to be like. There's a lot of people that can't visualize that way. So that's why they make it very real. They set up a model, they fill it with furniture, and you can sit down and you can get a feel for how it is. And you just can't do that when you're looking at a home that's either framing or foundation stage. Typically, they're very well furnished. There's no clutter. And they are very, very good, these builders, at getting buyers to absolutely fall in love with homes just using the model home. Um, Even in this market, the first steps to declutter is you have to make sure that you get the home ready, but take it one room at a time. If you try to do a myriad of rooms all at the same time, it's kind of like playing whack-a-mole where you're over here and then you move the piles over there and then you move the piles over there and you never really finish a room. It's okay to have one space like a dining room table where you kind of divide things up. Okay, I'm going to donate this. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm keeping that. But the key rooms you absolutely have to focus on are curb appeal. So most people's yards are not cluttered, but you want to make sure that it looks neat and tidy. Like give the bushes a haircut. Make sure the grass is mowed. Put down some fresh mulch in the flower beds. Even put out flowers. All these little things. Make sure the paint on the front door looks fresh, that the doorbell little dinger thing is not broken. Curb appeal is really, really important because even though the buyers are not saying it, when they walk up to a house, if they're going to go look at it, they're taking all this in and wondering, is this a place for me? So you have to make it as welcoming and as fresh and neat and tidy as possible. Also, the backyard and the view. Make sure the backyard looks great. The next room that's very important is the living room. People naturally tend to put too much furniture in their rooms. Less is always more. And it's so easy to go down to these furniture stores and pick up big, living room sets that look fabulous in the store, but the square footage in these stores is enormous. So you really have to take a measuring tape, be prepared. What I've done before to see if things will fit, I'll go buy that blue paint tape and I'll measure the pieces that I'm interested in and just tape the floor and visualize it before I go buy a piece of furniture like that. The kitchen, absolutely critical. Most people tend to put a lot of stuff on their kitchen counters. They hang dish towels on the stove. There's usually things like a bucket of tools to cook with. There's the blender, there's the coffee pot, there's the toaster oven. You want to clear everything off except the coffee pot and pick up all the rugs off the floor. Same thing in the bathrooms. Make sure everything's off the counter, even the soap. Pick up the rugs and make sure the shower curtain is open because everybody assumes if you have the shower curtain closed that you're hiding some mold back there. Master bedroom, same thing. You want it very serene, but not too much stuff. Now, there are some spaces you don't have to focus on as much for decluttering. One of them would be the garages. Most garages do not show well with stuff in them. Now, if they're empty, some people take a lot of pride in their garages and they're beautiful. They've got the floors are redone. It's very neat and tidy. It's okay to take pictures of those, but if it's not your show space, this is a good space to pack up things that you have to keep. And it's okay to use it there, but make sure it looks neat and the buyer can see the space when they come look at the house and how big it is. Same thing with unfinished basements. You want everything kind of stacked to the side so they can see the size of it. Make sure you uncover things like if it's roughed in for another bathroom down there, buyers are looking for that if they're thinking of finishing the space. Now, closets are important. You want to tidy up closets and get rid of old linens that you're not using. Same thing with clothes. If there's a bunch of clothes you're not wearing, typically after a year, I would go ahead and repurpose it and donate it somewhere. But typically we don't photograph closets that have stuff in them because they don't photograph well. But the buyers are going to look in the closets because they want to see how big they are. So one little tip that we give our clients is in the master closet in particular, make sure everything's off the floor and pack away the clothes that you're not wearing right now. And the way you can get started on your declutter journey is start with just 3 piles. Keep, donate, toss out. And think about it in this way. Do I really need this? Do I wear it? Do I use it? Because if you don't, maybe someone else might appreciate it. That's another option. So, and then if you have a lot of stuff that you really want to keep, or you've got furniture that you really want to keep, but it seems to crowd your space, it's not a bad idea to get a storage space just for a temporary period of time and pack away those things that you definitely want to take with you when you move. And part of what we do in our listing process is we supply a consult from an interior designer to help you decide what to do, what not to do to get ready for sale, what to get rid of, what to pack away, what to move around. So the photos turn out really, really good. We also supply a moving van for our clients to use in order to move stuff around to take care of that. But on balance, I would say a lot of buyers, sellers tend to kind of fill their space with too much furniture, too big of furniture, tons of knickknacks, tons of stuff on the tables, and you want a very minimalist look when you're presenting the home for sale. It's right now it's difficult to sell furniture. I've seen some people be pretty successful with it on Facebook Marketplace. But it is hard to get rid of used furniture a lot of times. Start with family, friends, um, maybe young families, even the church to see if they want the furniture first, or you could sell it on Facebook Marketplace, or you could donate it to some of your favorite charities. Another thing about furniture is that you want to make sure that you don't overwhelm the space, and that if you have pictures, I get this question a lot. If you have pictures on the wall, sometimes you can just overwhelm the wall with too much artwork. It's okay to have a grouping, but make the grouping slightly smaller than your furniture and have it about 60 inches off the floor. In other words, right at eye level. All these little tips kind of would help you do this better. A lot of people ask me, should I get rid of all of my family photos? No, it's okay to have a few photos here and there. It's just some people have their whole entire life story on the wall. So if you are thinking of making a move, that's what we help people do. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. We have thousands of buyers just on our website. Typically, I can match at least 700 buyers to any home, even buyers on Zillow and Realtor.com. Give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, host of the program. And if you're interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about the best ways to get a house ready for sale by decluttering. Barb, what are some of the other top things that home sellers should consider finding a new home when preparing their home to sell?
Well, Richard, there are benefits of decluttering. First of all, you can find things more easily. You'll think more clearly. You'll spend less money. I'm guilty of this, where I think I need something, I'll buy it, and I realize I already have one of those. It's really embarrassing. But I'm going to do kind of a lightning round of the top 11 things people should consider donating or repurposing. And I know I'm guilty of some of these. Vases your flowers came in. If you're not using them, maybe the florist will want them back. Kitchen gadgets. I have an apple peeler. Have you ever seen one of those, Richard?
Yes, and I own one too.
Do you bracket it to the counter and it takes forever and it's a big mess. I don't need that. Old electronic devices, very guilty of this. So I don't know how to get rid of old computers because I want to protect the data. So I need to study that. Overflow of tote bags, grocery bags. I'm guilty of that. Instruction manuals. Most things can be downloaded online. Gift wrapping supplies you're not using. Old cookbooks you're not using. It's okay to keep a few, but a lot of people use the online version now. Anything past its prime, old paint, old beauty products. Tea and coffee, I have an abundance of that. Extra linens that you're not using. I love this one, grandma's china, because you're never going to use it. So, that's why we talk about this, is just so you have some tips and you have some ideas of, okay, am I really going to use this in the future? Do my kids really want it? Where do we go? So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to get some help with us, that's part of what we do with our clients. And you could just give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You've been listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. More to come. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing rules for showing your home and how to avoid agent showing mistakes, plus Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss any of that.